life. Your health matters. You matter. Health begins in the spirit and the mind. Take time to love you. Live well. Be well.
Let's go.
Health matters to me.
Come on, get up, cause you tuned into the station for your morning motivation to get your education for your health and your spiritual needs.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, strong will to empower the people, to promote the peace, though. Positive attitudes, baby, that's a lifelong dream goal.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, health matters and we're here to help you become the better you, to be the best version you can be.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, and it's time for this classic, fantastic food for your soul. Here's Jackie and Coach Patrick right here. Let's go.
Health matters to me.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jackie.
And Coach Patrick.
Guys, welcome to Health Matters podcast, where your health matters.
That's right. We want you to join us right here every Saturday at 9 a.m. as we bring you relevant information pertaining to your health and well-being. We'll have healthcare professionals and other professionals on the show to assist us in helping you to be the best you that you can be.
So, guys, you know what to do. Go head over to Facebook and like our page, Get Fit with Jackie Fitness, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Health Matters Jackie and Coach.
All right. Happy birthday, happy anniversary to everyone that's celebrating their events on the month of April. Celebrate yourself, enjoy yourself, keep building a family. If you're celebrating an anniversary, keep loving, keep building. Keep becoming one.
All right. And guys, we want to say congratulations to the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Whoop, whoop. Gamecocks,
Yes.
national champions.
Yeah, they had the draft last night. So yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna say congratulations to him.
Congrats.
And also, I forgot his name, who won the Masters.
Scotty Scheffler.
Mr. Scheffler.
Second time.
Scotty Scheffler, second time
Second
winner
time.
master champion. So congratulations on him. So
That's
and
right.
all the people who visit our beautiful state of Georgia.
City
Of Augusta on the Masters this
Yeah.
week. So yes, God, hope you guys had a blessed and safe spring break. Got some R&R and some time off, some time with the children.
That's right.
But
Well
yes,
needed.
absolutely.
Quality time.
Absolutely.
Listen, let us acknowledge our sponsors for the broadcast. Without them, we wouldn't be here in front of you right now. So we appreciate all that they do to help us do what we do, not just bringing this broadcast to you every Saturday, but the things we do in the community as we bring health classes like diabetes prevention, management, hypertension management, prevention. We bring those things into communities, women health, men health, and our sponsors help us to do that. So we like to thank Aiken Chiropractic, Dr. Dan. When your spine is aligned, your body is too. Aiken Chiropractic is located at 425 Lawrence Street Northwest in Aiken, South Carolina. Their number is 803-641-9191, and their website is www.aikenchiropractic.com. And guess what? If you would like to be a sponsor, partner, or friend of this broadcast, this podcast, you can call 706-592-8862. We would love for you to help us do what we do every Saturday and throughout the week.
So, guys, without further ado, we're going to bring on our Dr. Dan, a sponsor of our podcast, and we're going to be talking about mental health.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mental
we're
health
going to
with
be talking
Dr.
about mental health.
Dan.
Matter of fact, Dr. Dan, they've been talking about that this morning. They was talking about the kids and mental health and social media. So,
And you're in a good
Oh,
spot
yeah.
right now to help mental
So
health outside in the nice weather.
yes,
Yep.
same scenery. So, Guy, how
Yeah.
you doing? And welcome back to Health Matters.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I decided to change the background a little bit. We do all need to distress a little bit once in a while, and I just came back a few days ago. I took a few days off and went down to Florida for a few days, and it was wonderful. I combined my business trip and the pleasure at the same time, but it was really fun.
Great.
And we all need a break, so I thought this would be a good thing to talk about. Talk a little bit about mental health and de-stressing and stress levels, and how does that affect us, and how does it really work and what can we do about it? So I feel rejuvenated after my little trip. I'm sitting out in my backyard, and I have a hot tub waiting for me after I get done here. So,
Oh, good. Okay.
Sounds
so
good.
Don't rub it
so
in.
yeah, so we gotta do things to distress.
Got to.
Just the other day I was pulling weeds and spraying the grass and doing all kinds of stuff, and sometimes you gotta take a breather. So,
Right. But you
but
know what, Dr. Dan, those things can be de-stressors too, because that's their your me
yeah.
time. You get time to be out in the yard and, fix up some things, get some things done, and that gives you a sense of, accomplishment.
Accomplishment. Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, but I'd rather be doing other things. To be honest with you,
Me too.
I will be. Yeah, I'd rather be like riding a motorcycle or traveling or hiking or something. But these things need to be done. I don't think anybody really likes pulling weeds, but you do have to do it maybe
I
so
don't.
often. I
Uh,
hate
I
doing it
don't.
really, but I do. I do like when the yard looks good. So you gotta do it once in a while.
that's it.
But yeah, so I think mental health is very important. Is something that gets maybe overlooked in our society quite a bit. And I wanted to talk a little bit about science behind that as well, so people understand why that affects us. And what is that really? Why is it a big deal? But you should remember when we talk about over and over and over again about those 5 factors of health that you need to do in order to stay healthy. And one of them is the positive mental attitude. We talked about that quite a few times. And this is where this kind of comes under. People, they're positive in life, and they're going to be healthier. Body's going to, work better, and, produce different hormone levels and everything. So all of that will function better. I think there's somebody loud going through over here. All right, they'll pass. But yeah, that's kind of rare where I live, but you never know. So let's talk about that. I mean, I think all of that ties into the need for exercise and sleep and proper diet and nutrition, and also you need to have that mental health. I think that's kind of overlooked in our society. If somebody was to Google chiropractic back in early like 1920s, 1930s, I don't know, 40s, maybe 50s. Chiropractic actually did a lot with mental health in this country. They actually had chiropractic hospitals back then.
Wow.
And all you need to do is, Google it and look it up, and you'll see pictures and stuff. And they actually treated people that had, mental health issues, people that were stressed out and whatever. And so part of that was, chiropractic care, and they had really, really huge success with that. But why don't we see that today? Well, politics, things changed, and government decided not to spend money on those things, and they stopped financing, they stopped giving, loans or, grants for those kind of treatments. And the end result today is there's a lot of people with mental health issues running around,
Yes.
and that's what we have to deal with. So, we need to look into that as a society. So, from a medical standpoint or scientific standpoint, there are certain neurotransmitters that get involved when you have a stressful events going on in life. You have that, fight versus flight kind of response. But there's some chemicals there in our body that they're involved. So I'm going to mention a couple of things. I'm going to keep it easy, but I want people to understand how that affects us. So there is something called dopamine. We have dopamine in our body. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that plays a crucial role in our body's response to stress. So it's very, very important to look at the dopamine levels in the body. So, dopamine, and there's something called norepinephrine as well, acts as a neurotransmitter in the brain during the activation of a stress response. So something happens to you that's stressful to you, your body's going to release dopamine and some other stuff, and that's how your body will cope with that, when we encounter something that's stressful to us, the dopamine gets released, and the dopamine release triggers the release of something called adrenaline, which is also another hormone that prepares the body to react. So you can have increased adrenaline in the body. Now, that doesn't last very long, but, that happens. So dopamine does a lot of things to the body, and it can be also released during things that are, positive stress. There's negative and positive stresses.
Yes.
Positive stress will be a sports kind of. You have a game. You playing in a team, and it's a positive thing. You like to play a sport, but it's also stressful to the body.
That's
So
right.
because you want to win, you want to perform well. So the same thing can happen at work. You might have a project that's due, or you're in college and you have paper due. All of those things are stressful, and then these triggers the release of this dopamine, and then stress response, and then that collaborates in the body to provide the energy that's needed to rise to the challenge or to be spontaneous.
Mm.
So once the stressful event is over, the dopamine level should return to its baseline resting level, just normal stuff. But unfortunately, there are, different kind of stresses out there, and there is, more acute exposure to stress and also chronic. So chronic could be your job, if you don't like your job or things you do, you could have chronic stress kind of situation going on. And I read somewhere, I'm not sure where I read that, but over 80% of Americans do not like the jobs they do. 80%.
I believe that.
So,
I
yeah.
believe that.
So let's just say majority of people out there do not really like what they do. They do it because they need money. They got to pay the bills and they got to, live life. But they didn't choose the right path in their life. They really don't like doing that. But hey, they do it because it pays them, some money. So they're stressed out. And the chronic exposure to stress or stressful environment, like a job that you don't like, can lead to several things. It can lead to memory deficits. It can lead to poor concentration. It can lead to inadequate blood flow to the brain. Also, dopamine gets depleted if a person is exposed to prolonged stress levels. So, depletion of dopamine during prolonged stress exposure, like the job you hate, creates an internal environment in the body, and then that can give rise to different conditions, such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, heart disease, cancer, and a bunch of other autoimmune disorders as well. So I'm just saying the depletion of dopamine can lead to a lot of conditions. So, what do we have in our society? I mean, a lot of people get Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and then number one killer in this country is really heart disease related. It's not cancer. Cancer is pretty close, but heart disease is kind of, or circulatory kind of issues are number one. And then, autoimmune. So all of this is just, a lot of that comes from stress, and so we really need to look into that. When you have, chronic exposure to things, like you're doing things that don't bring you joy, or you're working too hard. Just the other day in my office, I had a gentleman that comes to me regularly for, chiropractic adjustments. And he told me, I don't know, his arms are hurting. He's aching all over. And I think that's just due to stress. I asked him, how many hours do you work a week? He works 6 days a week. How would you like to work 6 days a week, only take maybe Sunday off for a long time? That's what a lot of people do. And so he does that. That's his normal routine. I think his dopamine levels are probably very depleted, and it's affecting his physical being in the end. So my suggestion was to him, hey, you need to take a break. Do you have enough vacation days? He's like, oh, I got plenty. I rarely take them. Well, they're there for a reason. Go take them.
Exactly.
And vacation is not good to stay in the same environment. Don't just say, I'm going to stay, I'm going to take a week off, but I'm just going to stay home, Get out of here, get out of town, get out of your normal existence, do something different than what you're used to doing, and change the environment. It's very healthy. Yeah, it's very healthy. And sometimes you need to evaluate your life, and if you're doing things that are healthy or not, and you can't see that looking from the inside where you are. You have to step outside your normal surrounding so you can look from the outside in. Then you can sometimes, you can see, hey, there's other ways to live a life, there's other places to live, there's other jobs people do, there's other ways people live, and maybe there's some changes that need to happen, So, sometimes you got to do that. I did that, when I was younger and I went to undergrad, I studied, I'm an engineer of food technology, And I thought that would be cool. I worked in the research and development, department of major food companies. I thought that would be interesting because I'll be the one coming up with some new stuff. In reality, it really wasn't that exciting. And I was kind of bored. And it was a desk job in front of the computer and stuff most of the time. And I did it for a few years. And then one day I realized I don't want to do this. This is not what I want to do. I don't see myself sitting on the computer at the desk job the rest of my life. So I decided to go and quit that job, which was, by the way, a very good paying job. But I decided to quit. And, I went to graduate school and I picked chiropractic. And I picked well because I really enjoy what I do. And I'm good at what I do, I think. And I help people, but they also help me stay healthy. And I love this. I want to do this for as long as I can. So I love seeing people. I love being on my feet all day long and moving around. I don't want to sit in front of the computer and look at the screen the whole day. So that's just not me. So, some people, that maybe is what they want. Maybe that's what they should do. But for me, that's not it. And I changed, and it wasn't easy in a way to do it. And I literally moved from a different state to a different state to go to this college, and my life was completely different. But, I loved it. I embraced the change. I loved my life after that. It was fun. The graduate school was very different than undergrad, and I really enjoyed it. I met a lot of cool people and moved, and it's been fun. So sometimes you just got to do it. You got to just, bite the bullet and do stuff. But if you are happy at your job, maybe take a break. Maybe take a vacation once in a while.
Right.
Don't get this chronic, stress levels to, really affect you.
Let me squeeze in there right quick, because you when you started off, you talked about having a positive mental attitude.
Yes.
And what people have to understand is that you're gonna have your normal stressors of life. You talked about your good stressors and your stressors that your bad stressors, things like that.
Yeah.
But you got to understand that, and you got to approach it with a positive mental attitude. Just like physical condition, everybody has a certain level of mental health, and if you address it, and if you have positive mental attitude and your coping mechanisms, then you'll pretty much be okay.
Yes. Well, I want to connect so people understand how body works and all this other stuff. So I was going to say that when dopamine and endorphins, the dopamine releases malfunction, then minor injuries can become major obstacles to people, and you get feelings of pain and misery. They're heightened, and it can lead you to depression. So I think a lot of people in the country are depressed. They're just coping with it in a certain way, but they're not really, understanding how it works. So in summary, as far as dopamine is concerned, dopamine plays an intricate, role with the stress and how the stress influences our physical and psychological well-being. Maintaining a healthy balance of that is crucial for overall health and just resilience in general. So that's all I wanted to say about, dopamine. But there's a couple other things I want to also say. There is something called cortisol. And you probably know the cortisol kind of has the opposite effect of dopamine. So, they sometimes call, cortisol is, a negative, but it's not negative. It's just that's how the body works. So when you get you get into depletion of what's it called, dopamine, then cortisol may come up to the surface. And they know cortisol is known as a stress hormone. Okay, it plays a crucial role in the body's response to stress and maintaining what we call homeostasis, which is balance in life. Right. And so when you encounter stress, whether it's physical or psychological stress, the body will also release cortisol. And so the purpose of this hormone is to help mobilize the energy reserves in the body, enhance focus, and prepare a body for either the fight or flight response. And cortisol is produced by adrenal glands. So it's very important. However, again, if I go back to the chronic stress, that chronic stress causes the we say about dopamine depletion, but it also causes elevated cortisol levels. It's the opposite, and that has a lot of negative consequences. So in our country, we have a lot of problems with weight loss and all that. And guess what? elevated cortisol levels can cause weight gain, or you just can't lose weight. It
Yeah,
causes
absolutely right.
impaired metabolism, and it disrupts your sleep pattern, which sleep is one of those five factors of health. So they are very, very important to understand that dopamine and cortisol are really related. They're kind of inversely related. So dopamine is, neurotransmitter associated with pleasure, with reward, with motivation, and movement control. So it gives you that satisfaction and everything else. However, the low dopamine causes depression, attention deficit problems, poor focus, and all the other stuff I mentioned earlier. And then, when dopamine goes depleted, the body compensates by increasing the cortisol production, and that's the problem right there, because cortisol steps in kind of like as a backup, and it's not good. So cortisol is also related to obesity. Cortisol is sometimes even called the obesity hormone. So it's a stress hormone, obesity hormone. It's just not good to have a lot of cortisol, because you can, I hear this from patients. I barely touch food and I can't lose weight. Probably the cortisol levels are too high. Okay, and that's why your body just can't do it. So you got to change your life around, and change your mental health basically, and that stuff will change.
And Dr.
Um,
J, let me ask that with the
mhm.
cortisone, I know I
Yeah.
read something, I studied and researched something about how cortisone increases inflammation, and that
Yes, it does.
that can cause chronic pain, and people can't lose weight because their body is so, full of
They can't be physical
inflammation.
active. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, cortisol is unfortunately a culprit to all of that. And again, it all goes down to being unhappy in life in general, and having chronic levels of stress, and not having a good coping mechanism for that. So, I want to also talk about, what are the strategies of balancing the dopamine and cortisol in your body? Like, what can you do,
Yeah.
to make that better? And it goes back to those, five factors of health. So one of those is you prioritize getting restful sleep. You're supposed to sleep 8 to 9, maybe even 10 hours for some people a day. 8 to 9 hours is like the minimum. And that boosts metabolism and lowers cortisol levels. So if a person is just not sleeping, or not sleeping well, guess what? They're just going to have elevated cortisol. So they can't lose weight. They're in a mood, they're in a bad mood. All kinds of stuff happens. And that's related to elevated cortisol. So, sleep is very important. And I mean sleep. I mean you actually sleeping. You're not tossing around. You're not waking up every 2 seconds. Your brain is not going 100 miles an hour. You're thinking about what you're going to do at work tomorrow, or how you're going to pay bills or something. You got to actually sleep.
Yeah,
So,
deep sleep.
yes. And then if you have time throughout the day, see, this is what I do. And every day when I work in Aiken Chiropractic, I go home for lunch break. I have long enough break that if I'm a little tired from, running around the office, I take a little nap, like 15, 20-minute nap. And that's huge.
All the
It
power
says,
naps.
power nap. It says you allocate about 15 minutes or so daily for quiet, or rest, or to reduce your stress. Now, another thing that's important is exercise. Exercise is a really an effective stress reduction technique. So, when people all, cortisol levels are too high, dopamine is too low, they're stressed out, and they're heading for burnout. They're burned out, okay? They feel tired. But, you shouldn't sit in front of the TV. That's going to make you even more tired. You need to do some kind of exercise. Hence, for this episode, I'm sitting outside. I'm in my yard, and there's a reason I do this. I want to show it's good to go outside. Look at this beautiful day. Just go outside, have fun, go for a walk, do whatever you like to do. I like walking. I like hiking. I like to ride those e-bikes. I have those bicycles that I like to do. Whatever, find what works for you, but it has to be some kind of activity. Our bodies are designed to be in motion, so exercise is definitely a stress reduction technique. Also, avoid self-medicating with comfort foods because you have anxiety. So, that's another reason, you see all these people at McDonald's drive-through. They have 2 drive-thrus in Aiken over here at the McDonald's when I drive by. There's 2 of them. I mean, it's not even 1 lane. It's 2 lanes. It's ridiculous. Like, so many people going there, and I don't know what they're seeing that food. It's not a good food, but whatever. That's a topic for another day. I wish people travel more and go to other countries and see that people are just not this big in other countries. And that includes our neighbors, Mexico and Canada. I mean, my brother lives on the West Coast in Canada, in Vancouver, and I go there and I walk around there. Everybody's fit. I mean, everybody's fit. I mean, you don't see big set people there. And if somebody is big that you encounter there, it's probably a tourist from America, you know. But all I'm saying is it's a different lifestyle and it's a different diet. And they don't have a McDonald's on every corner like we have here. You know, I think we have too many of those things. And it's just, to me, it's like a minefield. So that was the point, to avoid going for comfort foods. Like I said in the past, not every meal is supposed to be a party. You have to have food just for sustenance. That doesn't mean you gotta just party every time you put something in your mouth, you know. So that's how you lower this cortisol level. So, you know, cortisol is essential, but it should not become a way of life. We need to aim for a healthy balance between dopamine and cortisol. So in a summary for talking about these hormones, maintaining a proper balance between these two hormones will be crucial for overall well-being and mental health in general. That's really what that's all about. So I just want people to think about that stuff and realize, you know, there's a balance. And I talk about it, and I talk about it until I get, you know, red in the face. But everything is about balance in life, you know. They call that homeostasis. Homeostasis means your body is living in balance, and your body is living in living in balance with the world, you know. So you can't exaggerate on one end and then on the other end you're somehow good. It's just not going to happen. So one thing I was going to mention as well, as far as food is concerned, there is something called tyrosine, and you probably know tyrosine. That's amino acid, and there's links between you know, eating tyrosine with you know, getting dopamine. You know, they're getting more dopamine in the body or less cortisol. Now, it's not direct. A lot of food does contain dopamine. The only problem is you can't get it from food into where it needs to go in the body. So your body synthesizes that stuff, but you want to have some kind of food and stuff that will kind of promote that, you know, so you are healthier. So there's connections between foods that are high in tyrosine and having, you know, more dopamine and less, you know, cortisol in the body. Tyrosine is one of the essential 20 amino acids that I mean, it's one of the 20 amino acids that people need in order to live. But, you know, it's not essential in the sense your body can actually make it. You know, your body makes it, so we don't have to eat it, you know, it makes it. But there's things that we can eat that will kind of promote the body to make good stuff and not promote the body to make as many bad stuff. So there's studies and medical studies that have suggested that tyrosine supplements could help people with memory issues and performances under stress, and it can actually help people that are sleep deprived be more alert and some other stuff. So, you know, doesn't mean people need, you know, to go and get some, you know, supplements, but there are foods that they're important that actually are higher in that stuff. So they also have studies to say that you know, tyrosine helps people function better under stress and improves memory during stressful situations, and it helps you stay sharp if you have lost a lot of sleep. So what are the foods that, you know, have tyrosine in it? Well, you know, it's an amino acid, so it's found in foods that are high in protein. So for instance, sesame seeds. Sesame seeds are rich source of tyrosine. Sesame seeds are really good for us. They also have zinc, vitamin B6, and magnesium. All of these nutrients supports alertness and memory. So that decreases the stress. So sesame seeds are pretty good. You know, soybeans are a complete protein, which have all 9 essential amino acids that our body doesn't synthesize, but it needs. So he also has a tyrosine's partner called phenylalanine, and you know, you need phenylalanine as well. And some people have deficiency where they can't process that. That's why it's bad to take those, you know, artificial sweeteners, like when that purple stuff, you know, when it says the aspartame, and it says if you look at the pack or whatever, it says contains phenylalanine and some other stuff, and phenylketonuria and stuff like that. That stuff is all chemicals. I wouldn't drink diet stuff. People drink it but I think that's terrible. You should just drink mostly water, and then once in a while, why not make a juice? Have a juicer and make yourself a little shake or something, and just have fresh fruit. Just put it in there. I think that's much better than buying sodas and stuff. So soybeans is good for that. Sesame seeds, cheese actually has a lot of tyrosine. Of course, meat, poultry, fish. Fish is a great healthy source of protein and tyrosine as well. And then nuts. A lot of nuts are really rich, including that, but they also have omega-3 fatty acids, which will be a topic for another day because that's really important too. So all of this is connected. So when you go back and remember those 5 factors of health we always talk about, proper nutrition, exercise, sleep, taking care of your nervous system, and then finally positive mental attitude, all of this is connected. I mean, they're all connected. And I keep saying that over and over, but I just wanted to sink in because you can go and, go too much in one direction, but you ignore the other stuff, and you're still not as healthy as you can be. So you really need to kind of have a balance. So homeostasis is really what's it all about. And definitely chiropractic is a part of that. It's not medicine, it's that. That's all natural stuff. So anyway, so
preventative care.
Yes. So in the summary, take a break, take a break once in a while. I love being off last week for a few days, and it was really a good trip. I really enjoyed it. I love it. And, I'm looking forward to some other breaks I'm going to have in the near future, but I do got to work. So when I work, I like being busy. It makes the day go by faster. I feel, successful. I feel positive about, seeing all these people and helping them. Makes me feel good about myself. And, just the other day or the other week, there's a friend of mine that I bought the clinic in Aiken from 21 years ago. He's now 73. And we saw each other in March. We went to Daytona Beach Bike Week. We go there every year together. And he just told me he's retired, for a couple of years or so. And then he told me, he's thinking of going back to work. Now, he won't work full time. He will work, one day a week. But he says he misses that. He misses the interaction with people. He misses, the comments people say when you make him feel better. And it's just a positive thing. So it's not just about money. It's about, feeling good about yourself and what you accomplish, So I think that's pretty neat. So I don't know if he started working again. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a while, but, he's 73. So, when people ask me, when do I want to retire? I'm like, well, I'm 55. I want to work until I'm at least 70. So at least 15 more years. And people look at me like, wow, that's kind of late. I'm like, no, why is that late? I mean, if I'm physically capable, I mean, it's a good way of life. It's good for it's good for me too. Like I help people, but they help me because they make me move and they make me stay sharp, And so if I can do this, I'm gonna keep doing it for a long time, because it's enjoyable to me. I mean, and I pace myself. I mean, I don't work 5 days a week. I try not to. I have other doctors that help me, but I do work. When I do work, I'm busy. But you got to pace yourself. If you are doing, 60, right. Yeah, some people I see 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I mean, you're going to burn out. That's just not, you can't do that on the long term. You can do it for a short term, but, when you do that for, several years, it's just not going to work for you. You got to pace yourself.
Especially as you age. You probably can get away with it a little bit when you're younger, but as you age, that stuff shows up. And
and that's probably why majority of Americans aren't happy with their jobs. Maybe they work too much and don't take much time off, and maybe they're not happy with the amount of money that they get for the amount of effort they put in. All of that. Now that's politics and all that stuff. There's a lot of reasons for where we are as a country right now, but that's beyond our conversation here. But so I don't, honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, I like to be informed what's going on, but do I really care about politics on a grand scale? I do not know the president or any of the politicians. Neither would I ever know him or hang out with him. So, whatever they do, it's on a totally different level that I live on. I look at my local stuff and my personal life, and if I'm happy with that, and that's a destiny we can all control. You cannot control, who runs the White House. I mean, they're going to win. I mean, you can vote, of course, but I mean, your vote is so tiny. I mean, so, maybe we get lucky and get the candidate that you like. But the thing is, that's kind of the way I see it, out of my control in a way. I will vote. I mean, I feel like it's important to vote, but such a minuscule, it's like winning a lottery kind of thing. But, we'll do it, but can change that. What I can change is what I do in my personal life and what I can do on my little level here.
What you can
And
control. Yes.
yes, and everybody can do that. We can all do that, everybody can do that. Everybody can, put a little effort into what they want to do one day and plan their life a little bit and make sure they have career they're happy with, or the kind of, occupation that they like to do. And guess what? It's never too late to change. I mean, you can change, nobody says you have to stay the same way. A lot of successful people that I'm friends with have changed their careers, a lot of them. And my brother even, and he's a computer guy, and he's still a computer guy, but he's changing the focus on what he does, So for a long time ago, he had a company that made computer games, and that was where the money was. Then they kind of went away. And then he now works for the American Express card company, but he just got a master's degree he's trying to get more into cybersecurity, because that's kind of where the stuff is heading that he does. So yes, you gotta change. Everything in life changes, and so don't get stuck somewhere thinking, oh, it's gonna be like this for 40 years. No, it's not. Things change, things change. Look at the new law in California, where they're paying the workers at fast food restaurants $20 an hour, and now that's a big deal over there. Everybody's up in arms on that, and and I watched the interview somebody from some college was talking about, and he said a really interesting thing. He said, well, he says there will be a short-term negative effect on our state, but he also thinks there will be a long-term positive effect of their law. So how does he figure that? Well, short-term negative, a lot of people are probably going to be fired because these companies can't afford, to pay people $20 an hour. One burger is going to be, $40. But so some of them are going to lose their jobs. So that's a short-term, according to this guy, negative effect. So what can be a positive effect? Well, according to him, the positive effect is the companies that stay in business are going to invest into everything being automatic, with everything being computer AI and all that. So, and he even mentioned some German company that makes stuff. They already make stuff that's AI that makes all the sandwiches and stuff. So in the future, it's conceivable you go to McDonald's and you order. You already can order on the little screen, but people still make it by hand. However, they will be all computerized in the back, and your food will come out. So according to this professional, that's a positive thing, because if it's all computerized, food will be exactly the same every time you get it. So the quality will be kind of good and all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately,
it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening. So if you think, if you think you're gonna work at McDonald's for 40 years, that job is going away. I mean, it's going to be taken over by computers and AI and all that stuff, and that's just the way stuff happens. I mean, nothing lasts forever. I have a patient.
A lot of other things, and a lot of other things are too. So, Dr. Dan, we get into that great time again. We want you to close it out with your power of wellness program.
Yeah, well, that's why we do that. We do power wellness so people can afford to come regularly, because that's really the key on maintaining your body and all that. You got to do small steps along the life in order to get some really good big gains. And so power wellness. I think it's $79 for 4 visits once a month. You can go once a week, $79 a month for that. So that's less than $20 a visit. I think that's really the best deal. They can go to my website, aikenchiropractic.com, or they can call us 803-641-9191, and they can make an appointment, and we'll be happy to do that. But we do take insurance as well. If somebody has a better deal with insurance, then that's fine too. Or Medicare, we still use that. Medicaid as well. And also, personal injury, I do take care of that as well. So anything, but power wellness is for people that also want to do that as well.
Awesome.
All
Awesome.
right.
Well, Dr. Dan, thank you again for
Thank you
so
so
much
much.
of the knowledge that you're always sharing with the
Right.
listening audience. We don't take it for granted. We appreciate it. You talked about a lot of the different dimensions of wellness, from
Yeah,
mental to social wellness, with your relationships, and things of that nature. And everybody's different, like you said.
yeah,
But I think if we approach everything with that positive mental attitude,
yes,
then we'll be okay. We'll be able to manage that stress level, because anytime change comes, stress is going to come with that. And if we approach it with a positive mental attitude, that'll help us, cope with the stress a little bit.
Just respond,
exactly.
respond instead of reacting, and just
Hmm.
kind of look at things from a different perspective. So, and a
Yep.
lot of people out there dealing with mental health issues. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people
Yeah.
are dealing
Yeah.
with mental health issues,
And the
and
mental health affects every other area.
yes,
I would
yes,
say majority of people.
yeah. All right, then, Dr. Dan, we thank you so much. Looking
Yep.
forward to seeing you next month. We got to get up to Aiken and get and do a live interview
That'd
in
be
the
cool.
clinic. So we'll look at the schedule because I know you got some more vacation planned.
Yeah.
So we'll begin with you. So we'll check in with you with there. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening out there. I hear
Yep.
the birds out there twerking.
Oh, it's beautiful here.
I absolutely I know it. So thank you so much. Be blessed and thank you and the family.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.
All right. Dr. Dan Jolich,
All
Aiken
right, guys.
Chiropractic.
All right, guys. So he gave us a lot of gems and nuggets there, guys. So kind of take that stuff and do your own research. And I'm telling you, it's real. And
Yeah.
I was talking about that this morning. Well, they was talking about it this morning. They trying to do something with kids and social media. It's gotten so out of control, and how it's affecting the kids' health. It's really has gotten to a point where they don't even they trying to do something and don't know what to do. So yes, get
And
outside, get from under out of these screens
change your
sometimes.
environment.
Yeah, exactly, change the environment, get outside. I think they had something where the kids, they had a group of kids go to the beach or something. It was something they was doing, and they
Mhm.
they, they couldn't take their phone with them,
That
and
messes
they
up.
had to talk to each other. It was, I have to find it and wish I can just share it. But they had to talk to one another. They didn't know what to do
Mhm.
because they so used to being on
On that
these
telephone,
on the gadgets. And I'm
social
like,
media.
and they start early as little what 4 and 5 years old. These kids know how to
Already next
use this
sometimes.
stuff. So guys, you got to take care of your mental health. You can't keep pouring, take time off, take time for self-care. You got to self-care, make wellness appointments with yourself. I mean self-care appointments with yourself, and do your wellness checklist and see where you at. Make sure your body is synchronizing in harmony, and that's called that homeostasis stage where your body is kind of in balance, because all this thing is interchangeable. They work together. So I don't mean all of them have to be on the same grid, but at least they at some kind of
Balance.
balance.
Yeah.
And so but
Harmony.
yes, they're harmonizing,
Yeah.
just like a song, but they harmonizing, but they're working. All
Those.
right, coach, that's it. Let's get ready to get off this
All right.
podcast,
All right. All
guys.
right. All right. All right. So we want to thank you for listening to Health Matters right here with Jackie and Coach. So we would like you to like our Facebook page at Get Fit with Jackie Fitness and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Health Matters Jackie and Coach.
And guys, remember, we're here to help you to become a better you, to be the best you that you can be. We like to leave you with 3 John 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prosper. Guys, you have a blessed and wonderful Saturday.
Health is life. Your health matters. You matter. Health begins in the spirit and the mind. Take time to love you. Live well. Be well.
Yeah, let's go.
Health matters to me.
Come on, get up. Cause you tuned into the station for your morning motivation to get your education for your health and your spiritual needs.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, strong will to empower the people, to promote the peace, though. Positive attitudes, baby, that's a lifelong dream goals.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, health matters and we're here to help you become the better you, to be the best you, the best version you can be.
Health
time for this classic, fantastic. Food for your soul. Here's Jackie and Coach Patrick right here. Let's go.
Health matters to me.